Hey, Ethan here, and in this episode we'll be looking at F-Zero X for the Nintendo 64. It's the long-awaited sequel to one of the Super Nintendo's best racing games, and now it's time for some brief development history.
F-Zero X was developed by Nintendo in the Research and Development 4 division and was in development around the same time as Mario Kart 64. Miyamoto said in 1996 that he was planning an F-Zero sequel for the Nintendo 64 and was originally called F-Zero 64. It was originally shown off at Nintendo's Space World event in 1997, with it being about 60% complete. It was originally released in Japan on July 14, 1998, while North America got delayed due to Nintendo wanting to space out the time between their game releases, with it coming out on October 27, 1998 here in North America, and then a few days later in Europe for the Nintendo 64. But it's now time that I talk about F-Zero X. In the main menu of F-Zero X, we have 5 modes, meaning GP race, time attack, death race, versus battle, practice, and options. When selecting GP race, we have 3 modes, being novice, standard, expert, and a master difficulty later on. You also have 3 initial cups, being Jack Cup, Queen Cup, and King Cup, while the player is able to unlock the Joker and X Cup later on. Once you have selected the cup, you are brought to the player select screen, where you can choose a few players at the start and unlock others over time, but I'd personally just stick to Captain Falcon. You can also mess with the acceleration and max speed, but I personally don't do that. Once you get into an actual race, you start at 30th place every single time, no matter what your placement was in the previous race. Your goal is to get first place and race around for 3 laps. The initial gameplay is like its SNES predecessor, with the big difference being that the game is now in full 3D, allowing for large jumps, and the track being able to twist and turn like never before possible. You race for 6 laps per cup, with most of them being more like teams instead of all original tracks, such as Mute City, Silence, Sand Ocean, Devil's Forest, Big Blue, Port Town, Sector A, Red Canyon, White Land, and Firefield, for a few examples. Time attack has the player complete tracks as fast as possible. Death race has you race until there's 1 racer left standing. Versus battle lets you and 2 to 4 other players race each other in local multiplayer. Practice is like a combination of the GP and time attack mode, and an option menu lets you change a few things. The graphics look pretty good for the N64 and runs at a rock solid 60 FPS, which is essential for this type of game considering how fast you're going. There is also the expansion pack released in Japan for the N64 DD, but I don't have access to that.
And that is F-Zero X for the Nintendo 64. It's my second favorite racing game on the platform behind Mario Kart 64, but man can this game be difficult to control.